Vanakkam, Krishna McKenzie. So, the premise of all that we're talking about is re-establishing our relationship with nature through understanding local foods, because that's the best reflection of, having a relationship with nature, that we know where our food comes from. And I feel that those foods, they have to be made more and more clear. I've mentioned lots of things in the past videos, but I'm going to do a few videos where we really nail these, like some 20 plants, and we really understand that these plants could be used in circle gardens, or the idea of a perennial hedge, where you have a 2-meter hedge with papayas and bananas and ramphal and tapioca and spinaches and creepers and yams. Really, how they're used, that's another subject. But let's first understand those plants. So let's start with tapioca. This is the tapioca as we planted. It's a stick. So this is the plant tapioca as it's growing in the field. It'll get much thicker like this. And when it's thick like this, it'll be about 10 months old. And we harvest it, we take out the tuber. You can eat tapioca raw, grated. You can boil it, you can put it in mash, put chips. You can even dry it and make a flour with it. I mention this because just telling you tapioca is useless. We have to understand how these local foods relate to our daily life. How do we eat them? But the tapioca is huge in that it grows for 10 months. You do very little to take care of it. It grows, it grows, it grows, you harvest it, and you can have up to 10 kilos from one plant. So we plant the tapioca like this. I'll just give you an example here, hoping this ground is wet enough. So you just basically, push it into the ground like that and cover it, and that's it, and it grows. There's nothing more to do. You leave a little bit exposed, and the roots, they start to appear from these little nodules. So that's tapioca, that's the first one. Let's do another really obvious one. The next one would be papaya. So the papaya, it's growing everywhere. There are seedlings. When we were just doing the video of the reading, and I was almost sitting on a seedling. There are seedlings everywhere. Many of them we don't plant anymore. And look at this guy. This guy is remarkable. Look, he's bending over like this and has this sort of arm stretched out. They're really amazing. The green papaya is what has to be valued. It's the same as a carrot. We peel it, we grate it, you cook it, put it in a salad, put it in a soup. It's an incredible food resource. We have to be very practical. Okay, green papaya, once a week. Salad, soup, whatever you use. But if there's like 1 million people having that once a week, that means for those 1 million people, there was no ecological cost, no carbon footprint for that meal, because it grew outside their school, it grew outside their house, it grew outside their office, it grew outside, public spaces. It's so easy to grow. These are the qualities, the characteristics of local food. So the next plant that we would value, and the papaya, it can be grown in a nursery. We're going to do some videos about nursery later, but if you have enough seeds, because they're in abundance, papaya seeds. Some seeds, they're very, precious, and you only have a few. But papaya seeds in abundance, you could just take them and throw them everywhere. And half may come up, and maybe 10% come up, but that's more than enough. So it's not something that you have to struggle to grow. The next plant that is, really amazingly easy to grow, it's ridiculous, is the turkey berry, the wild brinjal. So this plant here has so many values. Yesterday I was watching a video that someone sent me as in a comment on Facebook, and it's like, wow, it said for asthma, it said increasing digestive fire and parasites, and I don't know, so many benefits this plant has. And what's more is it does taste beautiful. Many people say, oh, but it's too bitter, this and that. They haven't figured out how to use it. We often smash it and we steam it, and then we fry it in, with ginger, garlic, little chili, onions, and then we have it in a sambar, or we have it with lentils as a dry dish. You know, you can also dehydrate this. In Tamil Nadu we have vattal, where we soak it in buttermilk, we squash it and soak it in buttermilk, and we let it dry. Then you refry them. It's called a vattal. So this is an amazing plant, and look, it's growing everywhere. This is wild. This one is wild. Oh, that's an eggplant, sorry, but that one's a turkey berry. And you know, there's more of them just coming up here and there. It's such a, here's one, look, here's another one coming up. It's just such an amazing plant. In fact, they grow so much. Look, here's another one. Look, they grow so much we don't even know what to do with it all. So with this corona time, this plant, I would say, is one of the plants that's really had, you know, it's had a renaissance, because people have been open and interested to explore what plants you know, what plants grow easily and what can they grow themselves without any effort. Here's the next plant to value. This is the yam. This is called the Elephant Foot Yam, the Karnakerenge. I want to show you a piece over here because it's very beautiful when they first emerge out of the ground. So here's a piece here. Look at this, and you can see all its you can see all the roots coming off. Look like this. If you come close, Shakti, you'll see. Look at that, so beautiful, and how it's popping out like this. And then this is one that's a little bit more advanced. And then of course you get them like that. That's more advanced again, and then they really open up. They can get huge. Our friend Deepika and Bernard, who are her like gurus for me, you know, their amazing work in Pebble Garden. I know they have them like this. I mean, we haven't had that much success with them, but they've had like huge Karnakerengas. You get a piece from the shop, you cut it off. As long as it has these nodes, these nodules, you can plant that piece. And again, you don't do anything for about 10 months. You just leave it in the ground and it grows. So that's an incredibly valuable plant. Again, I'm going to talk about the ramphal. Look, here's a ramphal. We haven't planted this ramphal. This ramphal is just growing on its own, you know, and it's not the only one. There are many like that over here. So this is coming by seed. In fact, the birds are eating the fruits and they're dropping the seeds everywhere. We have maybe, I don't know, 10 kilos of ramphal seeds, and we just, you know, it's what's possible is really to make seed bombs and start just throwing them everywhere and have a forest of ramphal. I think this idea of vegetable gardening, you know, that really has to be broken. It has its place, but an integrated garden with fruit tree and the yams and the spinaches and the banana and the papaya is far more interesting. The next plant we're going to look at is the Manatakkaali. So the Manatakkaali is over here. If you look at this here, the Manatakkaali is probably my favorite spinach. When you make a spinach with this, these leaves, they just, it's so creamy, it's so delicious, and in Ayurveda it's very good for your intestines. It cools the body, and they have these little black berries, and these black berries, this is where the seed is. So like, if you open this seed like this, you'll see, look, all the little seeds are in there. It's too simple. You just can put your finger in the ground like that and just like spread them around a bit, and that's gonna grow. I mean, you could also dry them if you wanted and then sow them or put them in a pot or something. And what's also interesting is these berries, they're very tasty. You know, you put those in a salad, they're really nice and sweet and tangy, and they're very good for mouth ulcers, which is quite interesting. Just to share with you, this is a Manatakkaali that is growing up a tapioca. I've never seen this before. It's quite extraordinary. Look, if you follow it down, it's actually growing from here down here, and it's climbing up, and it's growing all the way up here. I've never seen that before, that it's acting as a creeper. Nature will always surprise you, you know. This is what Fukuoka is talking about when he says, be a fool. When man says, oh, food is like this, and farming is like this, we define our realities. And we limit nature to what we think and what we understand. But nature will always show you something else if you leave her be. This is really beautiful. And it's actually growing together with the blue flower. If you come in this little jungle, it's kind of fun. I'll show you this blue flower. So look, the blue flower is climbing up the tapioca here. It's growing inside with the tapioca everywhere. Now we harvest these flowers every single day, and we make juice with them. As many of you who've been to Solitude will know, that famous juice that the mother called Radha's consciousness. We put it in boiling water, we add lemon and it turns violet, a little bit of sweet, and it's very good for women, for the uterus, for the memory. I've read that it's good for epilepsy. I've read that it's good for memory development and all sorts of even menstrual problems. It's an amazing plant. We dry them, the flowers, and we sell them. You know, we have kilos of the seeds. It's such a resource, and it also fixes nitrogen. It suppresses, you know, weeds. Look, it's growing as a ground cover over here, look. It's sort of just growing down here. And it's just part of, look, it's all in here, it's all over there. And it's just part of, like, how to say, it's like these plants are somehow, these are the residents of this bioregion, you know, and we allow them. I mean, we allow them. They're there. We have the sanity to give thanks to them and say, well, great, grow, you know, and thank you very much. This is the next plant I want to share with you. This is the Kandhari Chilli. So the Kandhari Chilli is an amazing chili. Look at this guy. I'm not actually going to touch it too much because I'll always touch it and then I touch my eye by mistake and it burns like anything. This is one of the most spicy chilies. It will grow to about 3 meters and it'll get very robust and it'll give chilies all the time, So you constantly have chili. You know, if you have one of these outside your house and your neighbor doesn't have one, no problem, you have for both of you. Even for like 3 or 4 houses, there's enough. Here, we dry it, we make chili powder, we sell that, that's an income for us. We have endless amounts of seeds and it just grows anywhere. I don't know what to say. Like, it's just an amazing, amazing plant. Now again, if you can imagine an apartment block, this is something that we're actually doing in Oroville. We are finding these urban spaces where they have like some land and a fence, and along that fence we're starting to place these plants. Kandhari Chilli, with the tapioca, with the papaya, with the banana, with the yam, with the blue flower, with the Manatakkaali, with the turkey berry, and really develop this hedge, which is called a perennial hedge. So this is one. Again, that's not really the scope of this video. This video is about to tell you about the plants, but this is like how we would use these plants. But they could also be integrated in a circle garden, or if you just even more simply, you just had that one plant growing, that's also very fine, you know. That's the Kandhari Chilli. Next plant to share with you is the Portulaca. So the Portulaca is this guy here. This is the first of the purslanes that I want to show you. So this is very high in omega-3. It's good for autism, good for ADHD. It tastes very good. And you can put it in a salad. I have a friend, Sarah Kundig, who has probably the most interesting small-scale permaculture garden. I'll take you there one of these days in Oroville. And she puts a whole bunch of it in a smoothie every day. You know, you can imagine how good that is for her body and how nice the taste is. But again, it's in the salads or it's even in a dal. And again, it's one of these plants where you just make a little hole, like in the ground like this, and you place it in the hole and you cover it like that. You don't plant it straight like a tree, you plant it flat so the roots come from the stem, and that's all there is to do. Could it be any simpler than that? So the next plant in that family is the chicken spinach. So here's the chicken spinach. The chicken spinach, or it's also well known as Talinum triangulare. So these leaves we put in smoothies, we put in chutneys. You know, a chutney is a way to integrate leaves. You can put that Portulaca in the chutney as well, and you can put even turkey berry in the chutney. So the chutney is basically an oil seed like peanuts or badam, the Indian almond, you know, or sesame, and then with some fruit like papaya, or I don't know, maybe chikus, and then the leaves and a bit of salt and a bit of ginger, a bit of garlic, and you put in a mixie. Wah, you don't need any oil, and you have this like hummus sort of paste, you know, a chutney. So the green, the chicken spinach makes a wonderful green chutney, but you could also integrate this into a dosa or into a chapati mix. You can make green ice cream with it. In the smoothie, it's exceptional. And again, this is how you plant it, look. So we're going to make a very small trench with our finger, like that, and we lay it in the trench, and we close the trench. It's as simple as that. You don't need to do more than that. And it's delicious, you know, it's really an amazing plant. I just spotted something. Come and have a look over here. Look, there's a nursery of papayas. See, all those papayas there. So in another week or so, I'll probably come here with a mummity, because now we have a lot of circle garden projects going on, and we'll have to plant them. So we'll put those in a nursery. And look over here. There's another ramphal, look, he's just coming up. And that's happening everywhere on the farm. So I think that's, there's one more plant I'll show you before we close for today. And that is the famous banana. You can't underestimate a banana. A lot of people say, oh yeah, but it uses so much water, and yes, I mean, it does use some water, but we have places where we're not watering the bananas and they're still giving bananas. It's like, you know, I don't want to make a mystery out of it, that's for sure. But when you start mulching, look at the mulch here. When you start mulching like this, the soil takes on another structure. And when the soil takes on another structure, there is greater retention of humidity. There is more nutrients, you know. The water is the medium through which the nutrients, you know, they are passed through the soil. The mycelium, you know, it's like the structure of the soil is defined by returning organic matter. And the structure of the soil is sort of, you know, equivalent to the fertility of the soil. I would say that structure is the Shakti almost, you know, of this soil. It is fertility. So when you mulch like this, I think the question of what a banana traditionally needs as water is not relevant anymore. They use much less water. So the banana, we have the banana stem, we have the banana flower, we have the banana fruit, we have the banana leaves. All in all, it's such an important plant to integrate into this this system. So that gives you like a good idea. I mean, I won't stop, I'm sorry. Come here, look, I'll show you something else again, because I keep seeing things, you know, and I want to show you. This is the tuordal. So the tuordal is something that I also like a lot. It has a 3-meter taproot, and it can easily be integrated into one of these gardens. And when it gets too big, you could start growing gourds and stuff up it, you know, like I don't know, beans like this wing bean can grow up it, and it gives the dal as well. You know, it's a very wonderful plant. There are other things as well. This is the Rosella. The Rosella is another plant which just grows pretty much on its own, and that would be also integrated into the perennial hedge. It's slightly tangy, and it has a fruit that can be made. We can make a syrup with it, you can make a juice with it, you can make a jam with it. We put this in chutneys, in salads, you put it in the smoothie. It's another plant that's there, you know, it's just there. What's there, we have to use it, you know. It's something that has to be honored. Again, another plant which is there is the Indian oregano, the Kalpurvali, which must be quite well known to a lot of people. People use this as a medicine to make like a herbal tea. But actually we use this in chutneys, we use it in salads, we use it we just cut it up fine. Imagine it's sort of like oregano or coriander or something, and it brings such a beautiful taste to the food, but it also has a huge medicinal value. So there are many other plants that I'm going to share with you, and I think we'll do that in another video. I hope that was a good start, and this video has to connect, it will connect practically to how to do that perennial hedge and how to use these in the circle gardens. So thank you very much for being here with me, and see you next time. Please subscribe, please comment, please hit the notification bell, and ask questions. Like, let's make this a forum. Let's make this a space where we can, where we can bring this forward. And if you know things that you feel I've missed, tell me. I'm not an encyclopedia. I'm not the end of this story. I'm just a beginner in this story. So share what you know, and let's expand this. Thank you very much.